Hey team, welcome back. This video is about elf hunters, or introverted intuition, NI. What is an elf hunter? Glad you asked. Elf hunters, introverted intuition. So anybody who uses introverted intuition as their dominant cognitive function, we will call an elf hunter. It's a cognitive function that pays attention to information inspired by reality based on subjective experiences. So, it's a piece of your mental wiring, how you exist in the world, that looks at and tries to gather information and learn from, take in information, learn from these, not the actual senses, but things connected to those, okay? How you see something as a pattern or a connection, not the actual thing, okay? So this yellow balloon over here reminds me of something else, okay? Not that it's yellow and, rubbery, okay? It reminds me of a party that I had balloons at when I was 5 years old, okay? It's based on subjective experiences. So as you heard just now, I was talking about something that happened in my past. So that's kind of how it works. It's all based on your experiences and not the tangible, concrete details, but the connections and patterns that you glean from them. So do you often ask, what does this all mean? Do you get clear visions of what will happen by switching perspectives? Introverted intuition. Some stereotypes are they are psychic, detached from reality, and negative or pessimistic. If you're always looking into patterns from your past and kind of ruminating on them, thinking about them until they're ready to come out, people can kind of see that as, how can you read my thoughts? How did you know that was going to happen? And that can often come out as negative or pessimistic, but if you ask an introverted intuition user, dominant, they'll just be like, I'm just being real. This is just how I see it. This is what's going to happen. And technically, abstract connection analysis turned inward. Okay, looking at connections and patterns, so the abstract details, and it's turned inward into your head, thinking about the box instead of, looking outward and thinking outside of the box. Noticing patterns from the past. Implosive or convergent. They're seeing all these patterns and then cutting off the ones that they don't agree with, the ones that are not going to happen. As opposed to extroverted intuition, which is just looking for more and more patterns and going outward. So they predict the most likely or accurate interpretation. Kind of just what I talked about. So elf hunters, elves, improved sight and hearing, long lifespan, reverie. Improved sight and hearing means that they see something from afar, try to take in the details and learn about it before the time comes that they have to fight it and interact with it. They're kind of cautious, I guess you can say, before making a decision to act. Long lifespan, naturally immortal. They're not going to die from a normal disease that would affect humans or just growing old. Okay, so they have all this time to understand the world and live in the world and think, and so they're going to focus in on specific interests that they have. And they use reverie. Reverie is like sleep, but it's a little different, so they're reliving past experiences. You do that enough over a long enough time, and you're going to get very clear understandings of things that you find important. And hunters, physical, range, dexterity. The physical damage dealers are the perceiving functions, technically, as opposed to the casters, which are the judging functions that make decisions. So perceiving functions, scouts are just taking in information, trying to learn about things. And we'll call it physical damage dealers. Range, not connected to the actual object, but the connections from that object. The ideas, feelings, thoughts that come out from the object. And specifically for elf hunters, it's subjective in their past. And they use dexterity to jump and tumble and dodge and weave, and not actually focus on the concrete details, the melee details. Pre-made character. This is a pre-made character so that you can understand what elf hunters are like and introverted intuition users, in case you are not one or do not know one. And as always, I get to practice my pronunciation with these names. His name is Nisirai Algalrin, and he's an elf hunter, ranged physical, and his stat allocation is dexterity, as we just talked about. So Nisirai was born into a clan of hunters. At a young age, he learned how to live off the land, strengthen his spiritual bond to nature, track and hunt. Nisirai passed through his trials from childhood to manhood and was given a bow, Whisper Song. The legendary bow is believed to be able to find its mark even without a trained hunter behind it. Given to a skilled hunter like Nisirai, it is even more powerful. While he was exploring, there was a sudden giant fissure in the land. When he came back to his home, there was nothing but rubble left. Not rebel. Nisirai was forced to move to the main city of Kelestem. His bow and his memories are all that he has from his old life. Due to the unique traditions of his clan, he often feels isolated, even amongst other elves. One day, he ventured off into the woods. While exploring, he noticed a peculiar bear. Following the bear, he was led on a long journey to an uncharted cave. As he ventured further, he saw the cave was filled with treasures of a past civilization. He grabbed a handful of small trinkets to take back to the city. Smiling, he said, "Everything happens for a reason." Several visions then struck Nisirai. These visions, however, were more than images. They were premonitions of the future of the elves. Struggling to understand the significance of his journey, he decided to set off on another adventure. His thoughts are now flooded by ideas of a spiritual connection to a force greater than himself. His goal now is to uncover the past and its relation to what will come. So let's look at some abilities. Elf hunters use a bow and arrow. So, vine shot. Shoot a target. A magical vine springs out and latches onto another target, linking them together as one. Use powers of analysis to synthesize patterns. Critical shot. Arrows can now critically hit. Embrace a realistic and often seen as critical viewpoint. Commune with nature. Gain extra regeneration when surrounded by nature. Rejuvenate when you find a timeless, accurate, or universal truth. Call of augury. Warn others of danger, increasing perception. Notice and express a warning or critique that you have envisioned. Freedom of movement. Prevent movement hindering damage. Move easily between the realms of your conscious and unconscious. Linked perception. Gain vision from another perspective. Use other perspectives to reveal true motives and causes for actions. Keys to the elf hunter. They want to know why. What is the deep down meaning? They're trackers for intellectual clarity. Just like wanting to know why, they dig and dig and dig until they really understand what is going on. They're inventive, thinking of new ways to deal with things. They want accurate interpretations of patterns, and they are visionaries. Your quest. Have you met an elf hunter? Are you one? This is a quote from John Stone talking about Nikola Tesla. Everyone misunderstood Tesla. He did dream, but he made his dreams come true. He had visions, but they were of a real future, not an imaginary one. We must admit he was a prophet. In the United States, it's 3.6% of the population that use introverted intuition as their dominant function, according to Myers-Briggs.org. Pretty small. So this has been a brief look at elf hunters, or introverted intuition, abbreviated to NI. As always, I would like to thank you very much for watching. Good luck, have fun.